welcome to Riverbend Springs for this, the last episode of this series. A couple of things that you'll notice. You'll notice that we are in June of the next year. We finished the harvesting in October, I think. Yeah, in October. And what I decided to do to end the episode is just to see how long we could go with that corn that we harvested and see where it would take us to before we ran out of corn and stopped producing. Now a lot of the other, I've just let everything else run down, so there's bits and pieces, but there's nothing left in there. Some places are still producing. They may have actually stopped producing because we've got to the limits. But yeah, so I just thought that's probably because we self-styled ourselves eventually as the Tortilla Kings or Queens, one of the two. I'm not sure which. I decided to just base the end game on that. Any case, so yeah, here we are. All the materials are used up. We have 129,253. So 253 will basically stay in there. We did have to move some out. We have a whole pile here of pallets. So we're going to go and sell all of those now, and then I think we still have some in this greenhouse as well. Yeah, so we'll start moving this greenhouse stuff out first, and then we'll end off the episode and the series with the sale of all our tortillas. So I'm going to do that off camera. I'm just going to go and sell everything else that we have, and then we'll get back to you and see where we are, and we'll see what we've made. I think we still have a bank loan to repay, and that was one of the... Actually, let's have a look and see. Do we have a bank loan to repay? Finances. Yeah, we do have 130,000, so let's repay that, and that'll take care of all the prerequisites for this series. Of course, we've gone a little bit further than required in that we actually did a production cycle, we went a little bit further, basically made ourselves Tortilla Kings. Right, let's just get this all this other stuff in so that we can maximize our profits. Of course, we have in the months now that I've just skipped through, basically we've lost potential for income and things like that, but I'm not too worried about that. We'll still just see what we end up with. All of a sudden I can't drive. Right, we'll do this on the time lapse, and then we'll get back to you once we've cleared all the other product. Hello, you're back with me, and it's now 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we've cleared the big greenhouse, we've cleared all the small greenhouses. We're just going to get the honey in, and then we'll start on the tortillas and finish off this series. Now I did decide, just instead of doing it on a time lapse, just to do it, to skip forward until now. We've made about we've got what, 217,000. We're now at 943,000 plus this, so we've made 700 and odd thousand from all our productions for those months. 952. Yeah, so about 700 and quite a bit. Yeah, 700 and what? 40,000, say. A little bit less than that, but in any case, so now we're going to go do the tortillas. Let's do one full load and then we'll do it on a time lapse. This time I'll do it on a proper time lapse. Right, there we go. It's 8,000. I suppose I should have reconfigured this to take more at a time, but it's the end of the series. We're not going to worry about that now. We'll just get through it as we are. Now this is not the best time to be selling tortillas, but yeah, we will make some decent money from that. So yeah, about 29,000 for a load. So we'll get that all sorted out. Well, just before we do that, let's go and have a look at the pricing. Right, prices for corn tortillas. Where are they? Where are they? Corn tortilla. We're at the little market now, 3,081. I think we were just over 4,000 in December. So yeah, we've about 1,000 short on top end. But still, it's just the way it is. That's when we have decided to end the... And it's probably quite good because we do get a bit of a bonus from selling at this store here. So it's probably works out much of a muchness. Right, so we'll get onto the time lapse and then we will get back to you and see where we end up. Hello and welcome back. We're down to the 253 litres that are left after that supply. I think we'll eat those ourselves. Just grab this, go and put that into there, and then we've got one trailer load. 616,000 is where we are. 619,000 now, and got one trailer load which is going to give us roughly 29,000 odd. Price did keep on dropping slightly, of course, from the oversupply. And there we go. So 649,000 plus we were about another 50,000, so around about 700,000 we made out of those cornfields with the tortillas. So it's just about everything sold. So let's just wrap this whole thing up now. And when we started, we had this piece of land, and we had the piece of land where we've got the production on a small field. That's what we started with. And in this corner here we had a static caravan that we lived in. We had this farmhouse been in its building stage, so it was basically a building site. We had this shed also as a building site, and we had this shed as a building site. We had this yellow truck, the international truck, and a trailer which is around the back here. And that's pretty much all we had. Not a huge amount of money. And we started off by doing, and the premise was that we needed to build these 3 buildings, these constructibles as they're called. And we had a loan of 200,000 which we took to build this mushroom greenhouse and the watering system for it. And the way we financed the whole thing was through contracting. So we basically did heaps and heaps of contracts. We leased the vehicles at the time of doing the required vehicles at the time of doing the contracts. We also put on the extra contracts mod so that we could get quite a few contracts going at the same time. And basically every month we bought in products from the warehouse with the money that we made from contracting, and then built up these 3 buildings. As we went along, we put in some greenhouses, 4 greenhouses along here. We put in the hydroponic greenhouses, and incidentally the hydroponic greenhouses looked a lot better than that with this white plate showing around. That was after there was an update to the hydroponic greenhouses. It just seemed to mess with everything that I done here, but we only had this last episode to finish off, so I didn't worry too much about it. We put in this silo, which is a multi-fruit buying point, and then a multi-fruit silo for liquids and all different fruits. As we went along, we managed to buy some more equipment, so we ended up with 2 trailers. We did end up with 2 trailers, but we also ended up with 2 tractors. So this trailer is utilized for the auto-loading of the pallets, and we've used the John Deere 3660 basically with other little jobs in mind, but basically to collect all the pallets every day or every month. We bought the Fendt, which we have here in the second-hand market, and it has done us proud, done very, very well. We bought a second trailer. We did have 2 small trailers. We replaced the second one with a slightly bigger capacity trailer, and then we've got the liquid vehicle for carrying basically herbicide for our big greenhouse which we put in. Along the way we built these bakery production. We made it into our tortilla factory. Basically it that was taking in corn and then milling the corn, and the corn flour was used to make tortilla chips. Towards the end we had an update to the production mod, and in that update it had this wonderful little market. I really like the look of that, and we utilized that. We converted 2 smaller operations into that one there. And then that's pretty much all that we did. So we built up this, we put in a couple of bits and pieces, a couple of roundabouts here to make it look better. We bought quite a few fields, basically to do the corn, or to grow corn. So we bought these fields down here. Of course, where we are here, where are we? We have that field down there, 82, which had a little bit of a field on it, and that's really our farm there. And then we had a couple of fields up here which had corn in, and we bought those. And you'll notice around every field we put in some beehives. We had a bit of a mishap when we tried to buy this field, and it's already been harvested, but we ended up buying a field down at the bottom here, field 39, which came with another farm. And incidentally, that's where we seem to be spawning every time. We put in a couple of nice big beehives on this farm. And essentially that's what we did. So we decided, once we had the buildings up, just to keep going for a little while, and become Tortilla Kings, and that was the purchasing of all the cornfields and planting cornfields. And that's where we've ended up today, with that massive sale of corn tortillas. I do hope you've enjoyed this series. We've ended up with 1.6 million, plus we have our farm and all the implements and vehicles and such like on there, and a really, really good going concern. If you've enjoyed the series, please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in one of our other series. Thank you so much for watching. Cheerio.